A few years into my practice, I realized most people are making a major mistake in their diet. And I have to tell you about it because it could not only be damaging your health, it could be preventing you from reversing diabetes and insulin resistance. Today, I'm going to show you what this big problem is, how to check if you have it, and most importantly, how to fix it. So, what's the big problem? Well, when I started my practice, I met a lot of different people who are on a lot of different medication. I very quickly realized that over time, even with medication, their health wasn't getting any better. Their diabetes was getting worse, their blood pressure harder to control, and they were getting weaker. It became pretty clear that the common issue was this major mistake in diet. In fact, they were missing a very basic type of food altogether. I'm going to give you examples of what 3 different people might have for breakfast. Let's see if you can guess who's doing it right. Okay, for breakfast, number one, we've got coffee with cream and a bowl of cereal with low fat milk and some fruit on top. Breakfast number two, orange juice and an English muffin with butter. Breakfast number three is black coffee, 2 scrambled eggs with cheese. Which option sticks out to you? The winner in my book is option number three, scrambled eggs with cheese. Our first 2 breakfast options are very high in carbohydrates, which is going to result in a big spike in insulin and sugar. These foods are also going to stimulate appetite and increase hunger for the rest of the day. On the other hand, breakfast number three includes foods that are rich in protein. The thing that most people are missing in their diet is protein. Now, I think of protein like the building blocks for our muscle. The ultimate goal with our diet here is to reverse conditions like insulin resistance and help promote great health and longevity. The immediate benefits from eating protein is that it's very filling, it won't spike up your blood sugar, and it can even help prevent spikes in blood sugar if you have carbs in your meal. Over the long term, though, it's even more essential to get enough protein because without it, you'll be unable to build and maintain muscle. Now, why is this such a big problem? Well, for the last 70 years, medical professionals and the government have been giving people pretty poor dietary advice. We've preached the importance of limiting some of the best sources of protein like meat and eggs. Our entire food pyramid is based on carbs. Protein and fats get this little tiny section up top. You know what's crazy? We can't survive without protein. We can't survive without fats. What's the one thing we can survive without? Carbohydrates. Long story short, even our updated dietary guidelines are terrible when it comes to protein recommendation. The next question you're probably wondering then is how much protein is enough? Currently, our dietary guidelines would tell you to get zero point 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. That's about 0.35 grams of protein per pound. For someone weighing 70 kilograms or about 150 pounds, this would mean getting around 50 grams of protein for the day. For an individual who weighs 70 kilograms or about 150 pounds, this would mean getting about 55 grams of protein during the day. On one hand, this is enough protein to make sure you don't die, but it's frankly not nearly enough to prevent muscle loss as we age. This is especially true if we're trying to reverse a condition like diabetes or insulin resistance. We want to look at doubling the intake of protein, shooting for at least 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight, or about 0.7 grams per pound of ideal body weight. The most frequently asked questions I get are, well, first of all, what in the world does this mean? What does it look like to get that much protein? And then, man, how do I eat that much protein in my day? Let's assume you're shooting for 100 grams of protein a day. An egg has 6 grams of protein, a handful of almonds, also 6 grams, a cup of Greek yogurt, 17 grams, 1 cup of lentils, 18 grams of protein. 6 ounces of chicken breast is about 40 grams of protein, and the same for a fillet of fish. Most individuals are going to want to shoot for 30 to 40 grams of protein per meal. I put together a list of tips to help you increase your protein intake. Number 1, be intentional about having a high quality protein at each meal. We basically just want to prioritize protein, even replacing other foods if needed. An example could be replacing cereal, toast, or a bagel for breakfast with protein-rich foods like eggs, cheese, or a breakfast meat. Another option would be replacing a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for lunch with a grilled chicken salad. For each meal, ideally half your plate is full of protein, while the other half is filled with fruits and vegetables, maybe a little bit of carbs on the side. Number two, this is pretty similar, but replacing snacks throughout the day with protein rich options. So it could be almonds or cashews instead of chips, beef jerky instead of crackers. Number three, start each meal with protein. There are several benefits that come from doing this. First of all, you're making sure you get your protein in before you get too full. Second, eating protein or fiber before carbs will help prevent a spike in insulin and blood sugar. It can actually decrease that spike by about 75%. Finally, starting your meal with protein can suppress your appetite hormone called ghrelin for about twice as long compared to starting with carbs. This is basically ensuring you're giving your body the building blocks it needs to build and maintain muscle, eating in an order that helps you get much better control of your insulin and blood sugar, and being intentional about doing something to help keep you full and satisfied throughout the day. Tip number four, supplement if needed. Find a good quality protein supplement. In the morning, I like using RX bars, and no, I'm not sponsored by them in any way, shape, or form. I just like them because they don't have a bunch of junk or sugar added to it. I also prefer protein powders over the pre made shakes for these same reasons. Whey protein is one of the best powders available. One scoop can contain 25 to 30 grams of protein, and you can mix this in with a smoothie, with your coffee, or just water. As you work on optimizing your protein intake and especially starting your meals with protein, you should have drastic improvements in your diabetes and insulin resistance. If you're looking to completely reverse your insulin resistance, the most powerful tool is a ketogenic diet. All the benefits of protein plus more. I created a beginner's guide to keto here to help you get started.